Hello, everyone, and welcome to ReGen D&D Rewind. I started the clock a little early, my apologies. But I'm here with Grendel. We're playing a little bit of Total War Warhammer 2. I've got a nice, fresh playthrough for you guys that we've just started. Still on the first turn. And
Hello.
you're auto-resolving that? Okay, cool.
Yeah, I'm auto-resolving that.
Well,
That's a bit of a stump. I got big old croc boy.
hashtag Big Croc Boy. I want to see that trending on Twitter. All right. All right, so we are here not just to play Total War Warhammer, which I'm very excited about, mind you, but we are here to talk about the latest episode of ReGen D&D, and we had our 5th session on Tuesday night. And no, Noir, this is not on Legendary difficulty, but it's also not on Easy difficulty. We pumped it up to normal, just to make it a little bit more interesting for you guys to watch. But, yeah, so Grendel, you were in charge of the recap both for last week and this week. So
Right.
I can't think of anyone better than you. Tell us what happened this week on ReGen D&D.
Oh man, I mean, I did have a pretty crazy work week, so I might need a bit of a refresher. But I know there's a lich involved, and that's not good.
Yeah, that's true. We're not big on the liches around here, but yeah, I mean overall, I feel like episode 5 or session 5, if you will, was really the first time we were out of the proverbial prologue that Goose had set up for us. So I was pretty
Sure.
excited just to really be able to play the game and kind of shape a little bit more of what we were going to be doing. Because, in the nice thing about D&D, you can pretty much do whatever you want, right? You can certainly go in there and be like, you know what, I don't care if we've been charged with, bringing this caravan to safety. I'm just gonna go do this instead. Like you can do whatever you want. But
Right. It's we got the training wheels taken off,
right,
for lack of a better word, which always feels kind of nice, but it's also kind of scary because we've got a little bit of, well, shit. What do we do now? There's been this lich placed in front of us, and my character is going, fuck that. Like, I know what that is. We don't want any part of that.
yeah,
And your character's a little ignorantly optimistic. And
right,
um, understandably so. Like he's after, he wants to make a name for himself. He wants to build a legend out of himself. And he sees killing a lich as a way to do that, and it definitely is. But we're just not ready yet. And Lucius is a lot more of a pessimist, and pessimist maybe not so much, but definitely more of a realist, not as much of an optimist. Realist leaning towards pessimist, and we're gonna have to figure out what we're gonna do because if we are gonna killing the lich, that's all fine and good, but what are we gonna do between now and then? Because we can't just go straight to it. Um, but it seems like we're headed towards the Dwarven Kingdom, and we've been told. I don't remember exactly who told us that the dwarves may be less than friendly to us there. I mean, I don't think they're going to kill us on sight, but they might turn us away. Um, sure. Um, my character actually might have a bit of surprise that the rest of the party won't be expecting when we get there, and so that might be kind of fun. But it's definitely a situation where we're kind of like, what do we do now? Um, and I think Lucius also thinks that the queen is
something up with her.
she's either just as ignorant as Crench is about what a lich is and what it does. It's either that, B, she doesn't give a shit about us, which is probably a given either way. Or C, Lucius is wondering if she actually wants the prince to be saved, to be revived, because if she actually wants him to be revived, and she does know what a lich is, um, she isn't going to be able to get that in any time in the near future from us.
Right.
And so it's going to be kind of interesting to see how that plays out down the line. I don't think we're going to come to any kind of conclusion about that for quite some time, but it'll be interesting to see how it goes.
Yeah, and Goose had mentioned early in the process that he thought this might be, an interesting session. So I'm spectating. Okay, yeah, so you're fighting this.
Yeah.
All right. So it might be a somewhat early conclusion, compared to what some of us might have been thinking for the campaign. Like he was thinking, maybe a dozen sessions, maybe getting to level 8, possibly somewhere in that area. But then he's also mentioned that as we're going along, he can maybe see this going a little bit further than that. And I think that that's a lot of it. It's like, okay, you laid out this big giant task in front of us, but that doesn't mean we're going to take it. And a lot of people in our, like really 3 out of 4 in our group are like, yeah, we're not taking this opportunity like you want to. Crench is very destiny driven, and he's like, he believes that something's going to be put up in front of him, and he's going to go after that destiny, and he believes in himself, and he's confident. But right now, at least, he's confident. But he also is leery of magical things, so even even Crench doesn't want to go right in there. So, and I think Goose is recognizing that, and he's like, oh well, these guys are not just going to go right down the path. They're going to be, looking at what their options are and all that good stuff.
Well, and you got to keep in mind too that Goose knows what he put in front of us.
Right.
Metaphorically speaking, this lich, if we're going to put it in Star Wars terms, we are Luke Skywalker. We just got our lightsaber. Like, just got it.
I don't even think I get my lightsaber until level 5, really.
Yeah, like we have not left Tatooine. And Goose put Darth Vader in front of us and went, fight him.
Right.
And those of us who know who Darth Vader is are going, no. No, I don't want to fight him.
No. Let's see, where is the enemy? I say I haven't been put on the board yet.
Oh yeah, they haven't been placed yet.
All right.
So let's see. Some of these guys have aquatic for me.
Ooh, neat.
Which means I can take advantage of this water stuff over here.
Oh, nice. You got this over here, and you got this over here, and then boom! Well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. And I'm really looking forward to seeing where, where everybody starts to lean. I think that we have a little bit of time where we can kind of, stick around and just feign that we're preparing, before anybody gives us any kind of grief about the whole thing.
Oh, he's going to make me come to him, isn't he? Yep, he is.
Well, unfortunately, I think since you're attacking, they can do that, and if you don't take them out in 60 minutes, then they win.
Oh no, 60 minutes, I better hurry.
I mean 60 in-game minutes. Though,
right.
I guess actually the way you're ticking it off now, it is actually 60 minutes. If we do one combat. Alright everybody, that's our show. Have a good night.
Alright. We're gonna triple fast forward while I move.
See, the problem with this, Grendel, is I'm also interviewing you while you're doing this, so, it's going to be doubly difficult.
Oh, yeah, you're trying to set me up for failure in both aspects.
In both, yeah. I just want you to fail in everything, let's be honest. Now, look at these guys just walking across the water. I love it. That actually doesn't look like it's very deep water.
No, it's pretty shallow water.
Right. Nobody's swimming. They're just kind of trundling. I love the Lizardman run. Oh, that's fantastic.
Okay, so he's got spears in the middle. Oh, he's pivoting his lines. Okay.
They got a nice lineup. Let's see.
I don't have very much ammunition, but I have even less. But I have more range. But they have more missile damage. But I have more health. I wonder if my skinks trade into his javelins, or not his javelins, but his hunters, if they just win. They might. We're gonna find out.
We are gonna find out. And you know, I would be remiss, I feel like, if I didn't talk about muffins in this episode of D&D Rewind.
Oh yeah, I'm really enjoying the way Andrew's playing his character.
Yeah,
it's a lot of fun.
yeah. So for those of you that didn't see it, Andrew's character, our druid Merrick, got into a little bit of a confrontation with someone at the essentially the office of where you go to pick up side quests, but there's a more official name for it that I always forget. The League of Skilled Companies, something like that.
League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
Yeah, something like that. All right, here's our first fight over here, but and you know, so he was picking up a contract, and he picked up one right before somebody else was gonna choose it, and that dwarf gentleman didn't appreciate that. But Merrick
did not.
Yeah, Merrick did not back down, man. Merrick was kind of trolling him a little bit, which I really liked. You know.
I wasn't surprised to see that Merrick didn't back down. What I was surprised to see is how he handled it.
Yeah, yeah. So you know, he had gone to Emin, who was our rogue, because the other two of us were gone at the time. We were out of the city, and they both went, and they decided to do this confrontation. They decided not to run away from this gentleman, but to come meet him on basically their own home turf. But he decided, in a very interesting decision, to go to the baker and pick up a basket of muffins to offer to this dwarf gentleman as maybe like a peace offering. Sure enough, very high,
it worked, yeah.
very high charisma roll, and it just made the dwarf laugh and appreciate what I'm sure he thought was a good sense of humor. And they became fast friends. No fight involved.
Yeah, that was great. That was really great.
That's maybe my favorite moment so far, and probably I would guess anybody who's watching and everybody that's playing definitely would be pretty much among the top moments for most people. So we had that happen. Meanwhile, you know, more of the same planning from myself, trying to get things going at the Tor house. But we did successfully get the barricade brigade planted there, so that's been nice to see those guys rolling. And we picked up kind of an underling in Brennan, who could maybe help us out, you know, be our assistant and help us with stuff. Maybe be something in combat a little bit later.
He could. I hope we don't lead him to his doom. That's entirely possible.
Oh, sure. We have to remember, he's currently a level 1 rogue, traveling with level 4 heroes. Now, when you put that in pure XP numbers, the amount to level up from level 1 to 2 is about 300. And then it's like, I want to say it's like 600 to the next level, and then, you know, like 18, like it. Whereas right now to our next level, between those two is something like 4,000. So I think Brennan will catch up pretty quickly if we don't kill him almost immediately. You know, if we don't not kill him, but get him killed.
Kill him, get him killed. You never know.
Yeah. So I mean, and I think if he gets to level 2, rogues are pretty slippery, man. You know, they've got bonus action disengage, bonus action dash. As long as we don't put him in a situation that's too dangerous, I think he'll be okay. But
we might need to invest in some better armor for him.
I'm way ahead of you, my friend. I've looked everything up in the player's handbook, and that is very much my plan. Um, because right now he's in like the second worst armor you can have, which is I think padded.
Right.
Padded, yeah, like padded light armor, and he can use the next step up, which is the studded leather.
Well, normal leather would be a step up from padded,
Right.
I believe, and
You're
then
right.
you've got studded leather after that.
And studded
Oh
leather,
shit! I got a blue weapon already. Oh, that's awesome.
and studded leather really isn't that expensive when you get down to it. It's about 45 gold, so it's it's not cheap, but it's definitely something we can afford. Even at this point, and like Merrick's already bought that for himself, so
Right.
and really, Crench doesn't have much to do with his money. That's why I'm kind of throwing it around everywhere. Plus, Crench isn't very good with money. He's been around a lot of rich people, and they throw money everywhere, so he doesn't really know about saving money.
I don't understand. Why would you do this?
Right? Why would
spend
you
it all?
Yeah, obviously. What are you gonna do? Take it with you? But yeah, getting some good stuff done, and then of course we. So speaking of that side quest that Merrick was able to procure for us.
Oh right, yeah.
Yeah.
The missing person.
Yeah, we got a missing person. We traveled out to Latour, which is south of the main city, and were able to meet with the wife of the missing person and start to track him a little bit. And pretty much where we're at now is we had just left the essentially the morning of the morning of the second day from when we had kind of started the episode overall, and pretty much got up first thing in the morning after staying a comfortable night at the tour house, and went on into the woods. And I don't feel like it took very long for us to come across our first group of entities in the woods. Tracked them maybe for a few hours trying to look, but pretty early in the process came across a group of dwarves that were being beset by a group of harpies.
Indeed. And it kind of surprised me because I was surprised to see dwarves this far east. I thought they were farther west than that.
Right.
And also, those dwarves were just made of paper.
Right.
Like, I was working my ass off trying to keep everyone from not dying.
Right. Right. They were miners. They were not. Combat dwarves in any way.
Combat dwarf.
Well, some dwarves
that's
are like
my new favorite thing.
hashtag combat dwarves. We got a lot of combat dwarves in this game, for the record. Don't mess with don't mess with the dwarves, man. Like I have thrown like 4 full battalions at 1 full dwarf battalion inside their castle. Got slaughtered.
Oh, they are not to be trifled with.
Yeah, 80 units against like 20 units and then like a 20 garrison. I just got slaughtered. It was not even close.
They have some of the best siege defense in this game, for sure. Like, dwarves want to turtle. That is what they want.
Yeah. You gotta make them come to you and then see if you can't fight them under the best of circumstances in their home turf.
The thing you really want to do, if you can, is flank them. You can't flank them when they're in a castle.
Sure. Yeah, so it's just kind of a hard thing to deal with in this game. But in that game, yeah, dwarves were not doing so well. Though they did get a last hit on one of those harpies. But
that being said, Emin just about got dropped on his melon.
Right. I love it when the dwarf came up to him and was like, "Are you okay, friend?" Yep.
And he just
sitting at like 7 health at that time. But it seems like we did.
Oh, I think he was lower than 7.
Oh.
Well, no, I might have healed him. Did I heal him?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't think so. I think you healed mostly just the dwarves. Your stance on healing is pretty much you don't heal anyone unless they go unconscious. And I think that's correct. I think that's the right thing to do.
Well, just from it kind of fits my character a little bit to have that mentality. But also just strategy wise, you're never gonna out heal the amount of damage an enemy can put out.
Right. That's just not how D&D works.
It's better if you, in my opinion, if someone goes down, you get them back up. If it's before their turn, or if they don't get hit by something else and taken down again, then they still get to have a turn. Whereas, so you're buying them turns by healing them, and you're also preventing them from having to make death save, which is also good because that's RNG. You can just your dice can kill you, and killing them faster than they kill you is, I mean, that's how you win, right?
Right.
That's so many archers. You get just enough spearmen to hold a line there, and then just mow them down with archers.
I want to auto-complete it, just for the lulz. I'm going to do it.
Oh, are you going to win? Oh, this is spicy. That is the 50-50est of 50-50s.
The lulz! We're doing it for the lulz!
Oh, you win, but at what cost?
At what cost? Oh, I love auto-completing. It's my favorite. It's like rolling dice in D&D.
What's his nuts is already...
Yeah, he's going for the Shrine of Assyrian. Yeah. I've seen him do that before. But then, typically, he ends up getting in a fight over that with the Cult of Excess on the other side, and then I just walk in and just destroy whoever's left.
Mop up with what's left of them?
Right. That is what I do. Alright. So, we got that done. That went exactly as we planned. And now I just need to do some trade deals here. Get some income rolling in.
Well, thankfully, that other Cult of Excess army is in no shape to take Lothern from you, so...
Oh, no.
You'll be able to get some more spearmen out, and
that's how the game is designed. Gildor, yeah, these guys will trade with me. Gotta get that gold. Get that gold. But I don't think anyone else is going to trade with me. Bretonia certainly is not going... Are you going to attack Bretonia? Probably.
I'm not planning on it anytime soon.
Yeah, they won't trade with me anyway, so that's fine. No reason to give them a non-aggression at pact if they're not even going to trade with me.
So the cool thing about me being Nakai is I can go pretty much anywhere. It doesn't matter where I go.
I forgot. Are we trading?
No, I'm not sure if we're ever going to be able to.
Yeah, we don't have trade lines.
Well, we don't have trade lines because I don't have a port. I don't think. Yeah, that place doesn't have a port. But when I take the Isle of Wights, you might be able to trade with the Quotey Fingers Defenders of the Great Plan, which are my vassal state.
Okay.
Because I don't actually take territory for myself. Like, I take it, and then it goes to the Defenders of the Great Plan, and they work autonomously. I don't control them at all.
Interesting.
Yeah, he's a very unique guy.
Huh.
And Noctilus is just chilling, I guess. Oh, no, there he goes. Oh, he's going after Kaldor.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, and he took it.
Yeah, he does that. He used to attack me early, but he doesn't do that anymore. And in one of the patches, they rewrote it so they attack one of the smaller factions that you can't control as a player. One
Well,
of
I
the
remember
auto
one
NPC
time
factions.
playing a game with a friend of mine where Noctilus just wiped Lothern out in like the first 15 turns of the game, and it was like, what?
Yeah, yeah, because he's not a slouch. Like,
Oh no, he is not a slouch.
ooh, that's an interesting move by Illyrian. They went around. I thought they would go to.
Yeah. Oh, and
Oh, and now they're ready to backdoor. No, I don't want them to backdoor that.
yep, they're gonna take that next turn. There's nothing you can do about it.
Well, they might go around and attack Shrine of Assyrian. They might.
They're not gonna. No.
They would if they if they can. If they have range for that, it would be smart because
It would be smart.
because
Yes.
these guys just claimed it, so they're all of their troops are gone.
Yeah,
They'd be
they're
able
like
to wipe out their army easily.
yeah, they'll be like half strength.
Meanwhile, if he goes and attacks the settlement right there, he'll actually be weakened enough that the Cult of Excess might be able to come back down and beat him after one turn of regenerating. Like,
If that
would be
happens, though,
close.
you'll be in the same spot that you were before.
Oh,
so
I'll
that'll
be in the
okay.
driver's seat if that happens.
Yeah.
Because then, if they wipe out Illyrian before I even start attacking anything, then I don't have to break my trade deal that I just made with them and get to like. Well, I really can't do that. That's my problem right now. Is like I just made a trade deal with them, so I can't just go and attack them.
Well, I mean, you could also look to confederate with them at a later time.
Sure, but I don't want to split Lothern with them right now. I mean,
Well, yeah, sure. You
Lothern
want to have the entire province. That
Right.
makes sense.
I mean, yeah, we'll see. We'll see what I do. But anyway, so now we're looking at just at the end of this fight, we just won against the Harpies. And so the next thing,
they were squishy, but they hit hard.
they were well, squishy. I don't know if is the right word for them. They had a low AC,
Well,
so they were very.
that's fair.
They were very easy to hit, but they were hardy. Like they had a lot of health. I remember at one point thinking, okay, we've hit this one like 3 times, so I'm going to go up and hit him, and I'm not going to use I'm not going to put weight behind it. I just need a good, consistent hit. And it was not enough to kill it. I was like, what? At that point, we had done 30 some odd damage to it. I'm like, what are these things' health pools?
Right.
And then, I got an attack of opportunity for another like 15, and that was enough to kill it, but. So it was something less than 50. Like I don't know if we ever figured out exactly what their health was, but it was somewhere in the 40 to 50 range, I believe.
Yeah, I don't even have the option to trade with people.
Yeah.
So you might be able to trade with my my defenders of the Great Plan.
Maybe
and
not.
Because they are allied with me, or they're actually my vassal, they should like you a lot because you're my ally.
Okay. I'll have to see if I can do something. Oh yeah, I see. Because this one isn't actually a port city. The port city you just took would be something I could trade with now.
Exactly. Because Citadel of Lead isn't a port.
I actually didn't understand that mechanic, so that's good to know. So then, big next question for, I think, everyone to consider as far as D&D goes is, can we get this mission done and somehow get back to Hastow in the current day or like early in the morning the next day of where our story is right now?
Are we referring to the finding the lost dude?
Yes. Finish that mission, get back, take care of it in the city, and then get back to Hastow before the next day.
Well, part of what I'm going to wonder is that dude still alive, or did he get ate by harpies?
Sure. I'm sure we'll have to ask the dwarves first, but the reason
it's entirely possible that dude is already dead.
Yeah.
But then that also brings about another question, is because this guy has made this trip many, many, many times, right?
Yeah.
And clearly if he's made that trip many, many, many times, there probably weren't harpies before. So why are there harpies now?
Right. That's a good question. I think that's almost all of what I want to do. Let's build some buildings.
The early turns are so fast, the late turns are so slow.
Yeah. Well, and the big thing, the reason I say that is because I did some calculations, and we are currently on the Melande equivalent of a Thursday. And,
Thursday.
And Merrick has a hot date on Friday with his baker lady.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wouldn't want to stand her up.
No. Well,
that would be a mistake.
With the hot baker lady and her mother. So.
Right.
You know. So I'm thinking, like Crunch's plan in the back of his head is, because of course he's good friends with Merrick. They knew each other before this whole mess started, and so he's trying to look out for his buddy. Crunch's thoughts right now are along the lines of, okay, we need to finish this up, and then get back to the tour house, and get them back into into their town, and square that all away, and then if it's too late for us to travel back and then go to bed, I'm thinking that's weird, very weird.
Anyway, continue.
Yeah, we're going home. Like, huh?
It was right there.
Yeah.
Oh, his army's back. Okay, that's why.
Well, still, it's like
that garrison's not that strong though.
Yeah, I mean that would have been an ideal way to take that, but I'm not mad at it.
Well, no, this way you get to take it.
Sure, and they're still not going to be top strength after claiming Shrine of Assyrian. There's no way.
I mean, but you're still regenerating too.
Oh, but I've got another 6 units that are fully loaded. I'll be fine. Again, I might suffer casualties, but I will win that, which is all that matters. Anyway, my thought was like, I asked Goose 2 questions. I was like, first of all, if I were to ride a horse back to Hassow with Merrick sitting with me and sleeping, does that count as a long rest for him if he's sleeping for 8 hours riding the horse with me?
I'm not sure.
His answer was no. I'm like, all right, it's fair. What if I were to have him sleeping on the cart and just driving the cart back to Hassow through the night? Would that count as a long rest? He's like, theoretically, yeah. All right. So if we get
assuming we don't get attacked or the rest gets interrupted or something along those lines.
Sure. So I'm thinking what we do is, assuming we get this task done today, even if it's too late, I might just ride us back to Hassow and then maybe take a point of exhaustion, but then sleep it off in the morning while you guys do stuff in Hassow. But that's assuming we can even get this whole thing done in one day. We're still early in the morning, I believe, because I don't think we've gone very far into that first day after we went into the woods. And we would have left early in the morning for it. But, I don't know, we'll see. But Crunchy's got plans. It's like, we gotta hurry back to Hassow, because Merrick's got a date.
Got a hot date at that.
Right.
Okay, so let's see here.
Sweet date.
I could move towards Elf Island.
Oh,
but I don't think you need me there yet.
Oh no, I don't need you at all. I will handle Elf Island.
Okay.
Trust me. As a person who has handled Elf Island several times before, I got it.
I know that right here up at like Shrine of Cain, those are like not suitable climate for you, right?
No, they are not.
Do you want me to take those? Because it's
by
fine
all,
for me.
by all means, you can have the Sword of Cain.
Okay. Well, I mean, I can't actually have the sword, I don't think.
Why not?
I think only elves can have the sword.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, but dark elves can have the sword, but only elves.
Right.
Okay. Interesting. Again,
maybe even wood elves. I'm not sure though.
Anyway, yeah, my guys are not fully healed, but they're healed enough. But these guys are also, they don't appear to be recruiting, so they would be healing a little bit. So yeah, I'm definitely going for it before they get too powerful.
Oh yeah, you're mostly full health. Oh, are you at war with those guys?
With who?
Yvreese?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I like rolling the dice, Grendel. What can I say?
Good luck.
Yep. Heavy casualties once again.
Oh no, you lost your silver helms.
Oh, whatever. It's fine.
Screw it, I'll replace them.
It's fine.
You're like the Zap Brannigan. Each Dark Elf only has a limited amount of people that they can kill. I just simply threw so many people at them that their kill counters went over the limit and their heads exploded.
It's fine. Get replenished troops. In a couple turns, I'll take Shrine of Assyrian and I'll be fine. I play the game very fast and loose, so that's how I like it. Alright. I just don't like to do the combat personally. I'm not great at controlling it, and the style I play is heavily dependent on ranged attacking, which actually does better in autocomplete than what the bars tell it does. But
the bars in general in this game are just kind of wonky.
yeah, I mean the bar is not the final say. Oh, I didn't actually notice that these guys were creeping up on me though.
Like there's things that will fail to account for, like there's a spell, I think it's in the lore of vampires. It might be lore of death, I don't remember, but it's called Wind of Death, and that shit's ridiculous. Like if you get a cast of it off on like where the lines of infantry meet, and you just rake it through their entire infantry line, it's like get 1,000 kills in one spell. Crazy. And there's no way for the bar to account for that.
Ooh, he's moving in on me.
Yeah, but your garrison's bigger than what he's got, isn't it?
No, the garrison would be empty right now.
What, at Lothern?
Oh, well, sure, but I'm not in Lothern.
Oh.
Yeah, he's moving.
Well, the garrison
on
won't be
what
empty next turn.
That's true, and I'll have 3 more troops that are fully
loaded. Yeah, I
loaded.
think you'll be fine.
Yeah. The question is, he's trying to leapfrog me to go to Shrine of Assyrian, but I might just turn around and slap him right now. I don't know. We'll see. See how it matches.
If he leapfrogs you to go for Shrine of Assyrian, you just follow him and kill him.
Sure. His only other option is to try and go around and try and backdoor another one of my other 2. He might be able to take Tower of Lasine, but just like you said, I would just follow him in after that. So
he's not taking Lothern. There's no way.
No.
No, not with 10 units.
And he has no siege units, I don't think. So even then, it would still take him. He'd
have to build the siege equipment. Yeah.
Right, and I would just backdoor him. So. So I got my first hit with my implemented Great Weapon Master trait. That felt pretty good.
Yeah. Oh, maybe that's another thing that we should talk about is the decision we made regarding how we're doing feats and skill points.
Yeah, so we decided as a group to go with the alternate feats rule. So normally it levels 4 8, 12, 16, and 19 as you level your character up. And these are class levels, not character levels. But at those levels, you get the ability score increase. And typically, in normal rules, you get a +2, or you get 2 points essentially to add to your ability scores. You can either do a +2 to one stat, or you can do two. You can do 1 to 2 different stats. But with this alternate feats rule, you can actually only do 1. You only get 1 stat point to add. However, you get additional opportunities to do this at levels 5 and level 9. So it's pretty nice. It balances for the first half of that progression, but then scales a little bit less in the back half. But to make up for that, you still get the opportunity to take feats. So even in the plain old rules, you could decide not to take that ability score increase and take a trait instead, or take a feat, I should say. And in this way, you can still take the feats, and a lot of those feats have +1s to the stats. So it essentially means you'll never just take the ability score. It's essentially a rule that encourages and pretty much ensures that everyone will always take a feat. Because a lot of those are just better anyway. And I really like that.
I took Perceptive, for example, which gives you wisdom and gives you advantage on perception checks.
Right.
My character already, or not advantage, sorry, proficiency with a perception checks. My character already had that, so now my character actually has expertise with perception.
Right.
So he has a +1 with perception, and next level that's actually going to go, or sorry, +7. Did I say +7? I meant to say +7. He has a +7 with perception, and next level that'll actually go up to +8 because his wisdom will go up to 18.
Nice. I think I'm not even going to attack this turn. I think I'm just going to sit here and wait to see what he does, and then react. And boy, if he stays right there, he's dead. If he attacks me, he's definitely dead.
If he attacks Lothern, he's dead. If he goes for Shrine of Azurian, he's dead. If he goes for Tower for Lycene, he runs for a while, and then he's dead.
His only decent option might be to try and go by me and go attack Safari.
Or go home.
Yeah. I suppose he could go around and attack Illyrian, but I think Illyrian would kick his ass. Yes, I will trade with you, Alariel.
Alariel the Butcher.
I'll never forget in our playthrough how she is just running around, just hacking people to pieces. It was so great.
Did you see if you could trade with my bitches?
I did not. I should do.
Failure.
Yeah, I keep forgetting. So yeah, anyway, we decided to take the alternate feats rule. So we're all getting, I think everybody picked a feat at level 4, which is what you expect with this build. And then we also will all get a feat at level 5.
And then again at 8 and 9, is that right?
Yeah, 8 and 9. Where normally you'd only get to pick these at 4 and 8 in the first 10 levels.
4, 8, 12, and 16, I believe.
And 19.
Standard.
Yeah.
And 19, right.
Yeah, and those still exist. The 3 in the back half still totally exist, but you can still only take that +1. So it's a little bit of a nerf on that end, but for an early game, incredibly big gain.
Sure. And especially with your character, I don't know if people have noticed, but the stat line you rolled is ridiculous.
People have indeed noticed. Yeah.
You're gonna auto-resolve that.
Yes.
I think you're gonna lose.
I'll be fine.
Okay.
I'll be fine. Yeah, I'm fine. I'm telling you, the bar doesn't know shit. Okay.
It's an economy strategy. If enough of your men die, you don't have to pay them.
Okay, maybe. Oh, I'd be part of it. Not gonna lie. And look at these guys. We got Cult of Excess sitting there begging me for mercy.
Oh,
No,
not gonna happen.
no, I'm not giving you any kind of treaty. You're in my square, bitch. No, but yeah, that's kind of where I'm at right now with the feats thing. I'm very happy, and this was something that originally Jeremy had come and talked to Goose about, and then had also talked to me about it, and probably other people. But when we were talking about it, he had mentioned the fact that the traditional way is a lot better for people that did not roll well on their primary stats at the beginning of the game, and then this feats option was definitely better for people that had strong stats. And yes, everybody that's seen my stat sheet tells me how broken my stats are, and I realize that.
Oh yeah.
I have higher base stats than anybody had at the beginning of the second campaign for Critical Role, and those guys had some pretty darn good stats.
Oh yeah, especially like Caleb. Caleb
Caleb,
had some pretty crazy
Caleb
stats.
and Bo both had really good stats.
And Jester was actually pretty good too.
Yes, but hers were kind of awkward. And by awkward, I mean there were a lot of odd numbers, so you're wasting a lot of those single points in not having the even number that gets you a higher modifier.
But it does make it easier for you to get that even number later.
Sure, yeah, that means when you get to level 4, you could just take +1, to those two different stats, and then both of them you get a higher modifier. But my long-term plan is to get to 20 strength using probably the 8 and 9 levels. But because I'm going to multi-class, it's not going to be for a little while long. It's going to be about 3 levels later than everybody else gets it at that point. So it'll be like player level 11 and 12.
Right.
Which is fine. The whole concept is maybe a little bit tougher against people that are people that are trying to multi-class like I'm doing, but that's kind of the cost of it. It can't all be upsides for people that want to multi-class. That wouldn't be fair. And I'll get it all eventually anyway. I'm giving up the ability to get a level 19, but that'd be the only one for the ability score upgrades.
Sure.
I gotta remember to try to trade with you guys. See what I can do with the boyos. Because eventually it's gonna be my turn once it loads. I can always tell. I can always tell when it freezes. Like, oh, it's gonna be my turn soon. There we go. All right. Yes, I can attempt to trade with them, but they do not want to trade.
Eventually they will.
Zero interest. All right. Well, good talk. Those guys. All right. So now I think I should be fine to attack. How are my boys doing? Oh yeah, I'm gonna lose probably a few archers, but yeah, we'll be fine.
For my queen. Kill them. The Druki will rise.
Now see, that's the kind of thing you definitely auto-resolve. Oh yeah, I didn't lose anything. Easy.
GG, noob.
Oh yeah. Yep. Tyrion just rolls, man. He's so good.
And there's your province.
Yep. We'll add on some Lothern Sea Guards onto this already pretty strong army. And see, do I want to start building up side ones? Yeah, I do.
You want to get Straits of Lothern going too. That's such a big deal.
Get what?
Your legendary building in Lothern, the Straits of Lothern.
Well, yeah, but I mean,
it's growth and money. You want it. Earlier you get it, the better.
Gates of Lothern?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, sure, but at the point of not upgrading any of the other ones?
Early game, yeah, honestly, I would, but I play it at a slower pace than you do. So
Yeah, I mean,
I like to.
I guess I can just save a little gold. That's fine. I'll be able to do it. I mean, the growth is kind of the problem. It's not going to be for another uh, 4 turns, but that's fine.
Well, that's why you want to do it though, is because the growth and the income both go up. That helps you fund your armies faster and helps you get your later tier units faster.
Oh yeah, but you get growth and income out of upgrading the smaller settlements too. But
True.
that's all right. I'll try this way. I've never done that before, so that seems interesting. Meanwhile, I think start with that. Commandment, money, obviously.
I like money.
Is there another option? Here, Tyrion's got a level. Putting it all into Bowmaster. I wonder why. I'm gonna be rolling in dough soon. And then I have to decide if I want to attack Safari, or if I want to go on the inside ring path, or if I want to go take care of the Yevresi first, the outside ring, essentially.
I mean, you're already at war with them.
Sure, but I also just destroyed their army, so they're not coming back anytime soon.
Fair.
And Safari's right here.
I would look at the public order relations between people you might want to confederate with, because you might want to confederate with Alariel.
Yeah.
So if she's allied with Safari, that will negatively impact that.
She's not. Have you ever been in the room with two very influential and high-powered women before? Like, they don't get along. It's not a thing. Safari, yeah, no. Major power vacuum in that part of Lothern. They're not going to get along ever. No, they don't though. They go to war, and one of them wins every time I do this playthrough. And it's usually Alariel, but not always. Safari wiped them out one time before I could confederate with Alariel. And I got legitimately angry. I was like, yeah, well, you're next. I mean, I kill Safari every time, but that one was personal.
Right.
Yeah.
You didn't kill them out of you're in my way or
no, it's
I need your land. You killed them out of hatred.
You killed my bay. Yeah.
You killed my butcher. Just edit the game sound file so you click on Alariel and she just goes fresh meat.
That's right. That's right. All right, so back to D&D stuff. Something I always ask, kind of like, what are you looking forward to? What's your next big plan? What's Lucius thinking right now in the game?
Lucius is thinking that he wants he can't see all the cards on the table, and he wants to see all the cards on the table. He wants to know kind of what the queen's up to there, because he thinks she's up to something. He does not trust her at all.
And I think he's right to do so.
And come on, Nakai, get off the boat. Oh, waiting for players. Oh, there we go. Okay. He's lagging a little bit.
He's a big guy. It's okay. He can lag a little bit. That's fine. Look at this big, beefy boy. And he went inside his castle. His
Yeah.
mobile castle.
Yes.
All right, cool.
He keeps it in his pocket.
It's like one of those um, one of those little pill like things that they have in Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah, exactly.
The capsule
It's a
corp.
capsule.
Yeah, they throw it out and.
But yeah, he doesn't trust her. And while he doesn't really have any like personal political stake in what's going on in the kingdom, he is the type of person who would have little patience for political jockeying if it is being costly to the common folk.
Right.
And another interesting thing, I'm still working on his backstory. I actually need to probably talk with Goose about that. Maybe he and I can talk about that Monday or something. So he's a priest of Ilmater, right?
Right.
Or a cleric of Ilmater, I should say. And Ilmater is recognized in the human kingdoms as well as the elven kingdoms.
So they're considered like war neutral, essentially. They're Switzerland.
Pretty much, right.
Yeah.
So he was actually in Terra when it was being sieged and when the prince broke those people out, right?
Right. He was part of the caravan that escaped from Terra.
Right. The way that
brought
he
us all
got
together.
into Terra is the elves already had it in siege, and he walked up and said, "I'm going in." And they said, "Okay, we won't try to stop you from going in, but you have to act as a non-combatant. You cannot help them directly while we have them at siege."
What brings you here?
So, like, their stance was like, "We'll let you go in, but you can't heal any of the soldiers. If you want to heal like civilians, non-combatants, that's fine,
Right.
but you can't give the soldiers any advantage over us."
And that makes sense. That's fair.
Yeah. So he's a fairly pragmatic guy, but there are certain things that he just has zero patience for, to the point of extreme violence if necessary.
Right. And he was probably pretty upset at the whole situation, so I could see why he would have had that virulent reaction when the bandits kidnapped the nobles in the first place. And you're like, okay, I'm just beelining it for these bandits. I'm going to destroy them all or die trying.
That was for a different reason,
Oh, okay.
but we haven't gotten there yet.
All right. That's fair. By the way, quick update since we've been going for about an hour right now. You know, these episodes are kind of a little fluid. You know, they don't have to go forever or just end right at the hour mark. We're just playing and having fun and relaxing. But for anybody that's just joining us and it's like, okay, these guys are playing Warhammer. What the heck's going on? We're also, the whole show's based around talking about our D&D sessions, which as the screen is constantly flashing, you can check out on this channel every Tuesday, 6 to 10 p.m. PST. And so yeah, we're talking a little bit about our last session and what we're looking forward to. This Tuesday we'll have our 6th session. I'm actually surprised. Like, I talked to my buddy at work the other day who I talk about this stuff all the time with, this D&D. So he's really also very much into Critical Role now and D&D. Kind of the same way you introduced me to Critical Role, I introduced him to it, and now he's 60 episodes into it.
Right.
Right.
It's funny how that happens.
Yeah, it's spreading, but and so now, I talked to him the other day. I'm like, yeah, we had our 5th session. He's like, oh my god, that went by so fast.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the group I used to play with back in the day, we would our sessions were only once every 2 weeks, and then a lot of the members of the group were dads, so sometimes dad things would happen, and we'd just have to cancel, and
Yeah.
it was unfortunate, but I mean that's kind of part of it if you're not in college anymore and you're still trying to play D&D.
Right, yeah. Then definitely for sure, 2 of our guys, I know for a fact have kids. I don't know if Jeremy has kids or not. I haven't really gotten that close with him yet, but I know he's a very busy person. He's got a very busy work life. And if I'm expecting anybody to cancel on us, surprisingly, it's more him than anybody else, just because of how busy and how much work he's got to do.
Sure, yeah.
But also, yeah, 2 of our guys are dads. You and I are still enjoying the single life, but we don't have as many commitments as those boys do. But stuff still happens.
Sure, yeah, absolutely.
I can say this for sure, though. The D&D sessions have become the thing I look forward to most of my week. Like, I can see why Critical Role coined the phrase, "Is it Thursday yet?" Because that's exactly how I feel about Tuesday nights right now. And when it does eventually come, that night that we're going to have to cancel, I will be very disappointed.
It's going to happen at some point, but yeah. I mean, we're not playing Thursday, so we don't have to worry about Thanksgiving, though it is a holiday week, so we'll see. Some people might be occupied.
Right.
And yeah, eventually it'll happen, but I mean, I get that sad. Oh, Safri it is.
Yeah, I decided. I was thinking about it.
I get sad when that's I don't know if you should auto resolve that one.
I know, right? I should probably play it safe. I've been playing it fast and loose this whole time, but I don't know. Portal Lister, that could be the one.
The one that breaks you.
Yeah, the one that finally gets me.
Yeah, I get disappointed when Critical Role goes on break.
Oh man, and they have been on break a lot lately.
Yeah, they had this is like the 3rd time in probably the last 2 months.
Well, and
maybe even more often than that.
It's this. And if we're counting this previous Thursday not as a real thing, because they did their little, Wendy's one shot, which, by the way, I loved. I was a big fan of it. It was fantastic. However, if we're not counting that as an actual Critical Role session, they've missed 2 out of the last 3 weeks.
Right, and then there was a week on, and then they missed the week before that, so they've missed like 4 out of the last 5.
Right, so it's really, it's crazy. It's crazy. Well, no, it's 2 out of the
3
last
out of the
3, and I think they did 2 before that. But
yeah, it's been like 3 out of the last 5 or something like that.
Yeah, my view is a little different on it though, because at that point I was still catching up. I was still binge watching the show. And it sucked for me in particular, because I was binge watching the show and finally got caught up, just to realize a couple nights later they were taking the week off. I was like, oh man, now I gotta wait a whole week to watch another episode. But yeah, their series is great. If anybody here is big D&D fans and they don't watch Critical Role, that is the one you should start watching. Is their 2nd campaign. Totally fantastic. I'm probably gonna go watch that 1st campaign someday, but right now I'm going through the 2nd campaign a 2nd time, and it's actually really funny to see all the things that you don't notice in there when you're watching it the 1st time through, and you realize it as you're going the 2nd time through. I've just gotten to the point in the series where they find Kiri, and they're in the swamp, and they're talking to that guy in the bar that they meet who's supposed to lead them to the safe house. And I won't spoil anything, but I just found it incredibly hilarious when he's sitting there saying, he doesn't want to go. Oh, my life. I want to protect my life. And they're like, how about 100 gold for it? He's like, I'll do it for that. Especially considering what ends up happening to him is, oh, it's fantastic. Anyway, enough of that tangent.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, I'm really interested to see what happens as we go along and as we pump out these episodes. We've been getting pretty consistent rolling here without having to take a break. But we are going to be taking a break for Halloween.
Right. We're doing a one shot for Halloween.
Yeah, so Goose is putting together a special one shot.
I'm still trying to figure out what I'm going to make for that one shot. Do you know what you're making?
Oh yeah, I made a Eric Kokra archer or ranger. I mean.
Okay.
Yeah. Got the archery feats and the archery stance, and I went with we're going with the classic feats rule, so we're only going to get one feat because we're all starting at level 5. And I went with sharpshooter, and
oh sure, yeah.
And as my we also got the opportunity from Goose to pick 2 uncommon weapons or like uncommon items, like magical items, or 1 rare magical item. I decided to go with 2 uncommon, and I did a +1 longbow, and then a ring of accuracy, which adds 2 damage to any hit you hit with a ranged weapon.
Ooh.
And so with that,
be looking to snipe people.
Well, my long range with a longbow is 600 feet.
Yeah, but if you're firing at long range, you're going at disadvantage.
Not with sharpshooter.
Oh, true.
So
yeah,
I imagine that Goose will read my character sheet on this thing and be like, okay, so we're going to be in a lot of closed spaces. It's totally a haunted house build where there's going to be no open ranges for him to go hide somewhere. But my Aarakocra has a flying speed of 50, which I really like.
Oh. So you're just going to be flying up in the sky, just raining arrows down on
That's
people.
kind of my plan, yeah. They start running towards me, and I start flying upward, and by the time they get to me, I'm like 200 feet in the air, and I'm like, good luck. Oh.
I should make something ridiculous. Maybe I'll make a troll bard.
Yeah, something interesting for sure.
I'm imagining a troll bard with like a lute or a lyre or whatever instrument, just plucking it and then going like, "Law!"
Yeah. By the way, did you see the meme I posted earlier in our chat?
No, I missed it. What was it?
All right. This was my first time using a meme generator, and now I'm going to have to try and put this up on screen, which I can totally do. But here we go. I'll just send it to you here in Discord. There's a lot of discussions today about spell slots.
That's fair.
Alright, so while you're doing the battle, I'll just go ahead and pop this up on the screen real quick here. Second. This isn't gonna be pretty, it'll just be there. Wait a minute. Not working right. There we go. Now we're cooking with.
It says I'm favored. Interesting. Oh, they don't have any ranged. Okay.
Alright, there we go. Now it's up on screen. So yeah, they're talking about spell slots, and I just wonder if my axe is sharp enough. I don't know. I guess we'll find out. Alright, so let's get into the battle. Grendel, of course, likes to actually fight stuff. Who knew? I do like the visuals of this, and to be honest, I kind of wish there was something where you could have it autocomplete, but still show you this battle feature.
That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah. Where you didn't have to control it, but I can also see why they wouldn't make that. Like, well, then why not just autocomplete if you like? Because I want to watch the epic battle. But then you're just gonna want to control it when it's going bad. Yeah, maybe. Don't psychoanalyze me totally correctly. But yeah,
I'm
I like
to play cat and mouse with these guys.
Yeah, they're starting to come up, and you're like, "Psych!" to run away. So does anyone have any range here? Like, what's?
Oh, these guys that I have are ranged.
Oh, they're just you're not. They aren't close enough yet, I guess.
Oh, they've already used most of their ammo, actually.
Oh, I'm not seeing it, but I'm seeing damage, I guess. So watch a little closer. By the way, I'm happy you're destroying these guys. These guys were causing me some issues in my last playthrough.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. It was not nice.
Okay.
I mean, it wasn't until I started taking over some of the, like the Bretonian areas. Then they came down and started causing issues, but anyway.
Yeah, he doesn't really have, I mean, he's got answers for my, Croxagores, but, not good ones.
What are these spear guys doing in the back here? Kind of chilling out?
What? These guys right here?
The javelin. Okay, so they're ranged.
Yeah, they are ranged. They were throwing javelins. Now they're out of javelins, though. So
It's always sad when they run out of javelins. My character's got 4 javelins, by the way. Oh, I found out that I could actually throw 2 axes in a turn if I wanted. Kind of nice.
Oh, nice.
But the issue is that throwing the second one is a bonus action.
Ah.
So what I had figured out in before this last session and going into this first fight is I can use my bonus action to rage as I'm running in, and then attack using a ranged weapon, and that would allow me to keep my rage into the next turn, even if I don't hit. I thought, oh, maybe it's got to be a melee attack, but it doesn't say melee attack for the rage mechanic, so a ranged attack should be fine.
Yeah, I think that should work.
Yeah.
Don't know why it wouldn't.
And so that's what I did. I threw my hand axe and I hit that damn harpy for like 9 damage, but still, that's. I wasn't going to be able to reach. I mean, I could have maybe used my action to dash to reach, but at that point you can't attack. So kind of what's the point? But yeah, if I ever get in that situation, now I know I can actually use a second. I've got 2 hand axes, so I could theoretically throw them both in one turn. Especially if there's like something that's like flying and I can't reach it with my melee. That could be useful.
Yeah, you might have to drop your big axe though if you do that.
Right, if I was using it at the time, yeah, I would have to drop it. But that's fine. I've also got the sword, so it's kind of nice. I've got both those weapons that are fairly equal. If anything, the sword is actually it's pretty good. You know, like it's going to have a higher average of damage, slightly. And what's interesting is at level 6, I'm planning on multi-classing into fighter and getting that that stance for great weapon fighting. I think it's like two-handed fighting is like the name is something like that. But it lets me re-roll any 1s or 2s that I roll on melee weapon attack damage.
Oh, that one. Is that Savage Attacker or is that the other one?
No, that's just when you get to pick a fighting stance. That's the two-handed fighting stance.
Oh, right.
Yeah. And so, I mean, that would still be good for my axe, for my D12, if I roll a 1 or 2 to get to re-roll it. But when I'm rolling for the sword, it's 2d6. And so
sure, yeah.
I'm going to roll 1s and 2s more often with that and get to re-roll them. And there's not quite as big a margin for the worst scenarios in that. Which, like, for the axe is if I roll a 3 or 4 and don't get to re-roll it. But, roll a 6 and a 1 and then get to re-roll the 1 as maybe like a 3 or 4. Like, you're getting a much higher, like...
The average will be higher, yeah.
Much higher average. Getting that re-roll option for 1 and 2. So at that point...
it probably lowers your ceiling slightly, but raises your floor a lot.
Sure. And that's the case even using it now. The median for the axe is 6.5, but the median for the two-handed sword is 7, and that's before you add that reroll mechanic in. So, like, that's already how it is. The downside, which is interesting, is that with my my trait that allows me to add 1 dice roll, or like 1 of the weapon dice rolls to it when I crit. That makes the axe slightly better, but only for crits. So.
Right.
So it's a little bit of a trade-off, and as I get brutal criticals starting at level 9, and I think it's 9, 13, and 17, I get brutal critical dice adds. Eventually the axe will be better, but for now the sword is actually better. But damn it, Crench likes that axe better, so now I don't know what to do.
Thematically, sure, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know, we'll see. Hey, it's my turn again.
It is your turn.
Once it loads. I can tell because it froze. So now we've got Yevresi over here building up an army. He's actually bouncing back a little faster than I thought he would. Yeah, he's already got 10 and still growing over here. Waiting for players.
Oh, I think I crashed.
Oh no!
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I crashed.
Alright, well, you know what? It would have auto-saved, right? For the,
Yeah, it
last
auto-saved it, at least at the beginning of my turn. It would have auto-saved.
Alright, well, we might end up playing more of this lovely game. However, I think we might just be done and about run out of topics to talk about D&D with for now.
Yeah, I think we hit everything.
Yeah. So if you reload into this, is it going to load into this game, or...
I'm still trying to, it's like it crashed, but it's still open, so it's weird. I'm still trying to get it to close.
It's like seizing, it's not totally down. Alright,
but, yeah, no, it's gonna kick you out here in just a minute, probably. It won't let me rejoin the game. We'd have to relaunch and start from the autosave.
Alright, well, either way, I think we'll go ahead and call it a night for ReGen D&D Rewind, even if we end up coming back to play more. But thanks everybody for coming out and watching. This video and all videos we do for ReGen D&D will be on the YouTube channel, neatly sorted into nice little playlists. So feel free to check those out and catch up on what you missed. And we'll be back on Tuesday night, 6 p.m. PST, for our next session number 6. And keep an eye on Twitter for any updates or changes in that schedule, just in case anything does go down. And other than that, Grendel, thanks for joining me, man. It's always a pleasure.
Yeah, absolutely. It was great.
It was one of my favorite games, so I was kind of excited to just get to play some co-op Warhammer tonight. So
Yeah, for sure. It had been a while.
All right, guys. Well, we'll see you guys next time. Have a good night.
See you guys.